In the last lecture, I mentioned that VueJS proxies the properties we set up here on the data field. And it does the same for the methods and the computed properties. So we can access them from outside, like here setting the title. And I can also call this show method here, for example. So if I want to do this and I hit Control Enter, you will see that after 3 seconds I get this alert. And now it is updated and not changed by timer, because after changing the title here, I called the show method, which changes the title again. So this is this proxying, because in theory, we're not creating this Vue instance. Yes, we're calling it, we're creating it with the constructor, but it is an object shipped with the VueJS framework, the core object of that framework, that is. And we don't know which properties this has, or we can find out from the API reference, but it clearly does not have the properties we set up here in the object we pass to the constructor. That's just an argument we give to the constructor, right? But behind the scenes, when creating an instance, VueJS will take our object we pass in here, and then it will take our data properties and our methods, and will kind of use them as native properties on the Vue instance object itself. So it will kind of copy them. It does a bit more than that behind the scenes. It actually sets up a kind of a watcher for each of these properties, which makes sure that it recognizes whenever one of these properties is changed, so that it knows when to update the DOM or when to do anything. So it not only takes them and allows us to work with them like a normal dump JavaScript, it also has this watcher layer where it recognizes that something changed and is able to work with that. This has an important implication. We're able to access our properties like that from outside, but we're not able to create a new property like this. If I set VM1 new prop equals new, then I can set it, this will work, this is normal JavaScript, I can add a property like this. But what I can't do is, I can't use it in my Vue instance. It's not reactive. VueJS is not watching it, because it only will create this proxying. It will only create these watchers for everything we pass in this object upon creation with this constructor. So everything we pass in this object, we pass to the constructor. Every other property we add thereafter will be there, as you can clearly tell if we print it to the console. So let's output it here and open up the console. You see the Vue instance here. You can see it got a lot of properties here. And you can see here are our proxied properties with getters and setters. This is this watcher effect I was talking of. And here you see this new prop. It doesn't have this getter or setter. And that is because we didn't pass it up on creation of the instance. Therefore, VueJS did not set up these getters and setters, and therefore it is not watching that. These getters and setters you see here all over the place are basically VueJS tool of understanding whenever we access a property or get the value from it. Makes sense, I guess. So this is important to understand, this proxying of properties, that VueJS watches them for us, that we can access them from outside of the instance by directly accessing them on our VM variable where we stored the instance, but that we cannot add new properties, or that we can add them, but they won't work as normal properties we pass in this data property here or as methods when creating this Vue instance. That is really important to understand and to keep in mind.